At this point, you think we'd proven just how far we're willing to take our 3D printed Porsche build. I mean, not only did we 3D print an entire 992 Porsche GT3 RS, we took things a step further and 3D printed this functional DRS rear wing. Yep, that actually works. But we're not done yet. We've taken it a step further and we've gone absolutely next level with possibly the most exciting part of the whole build. And that is the wheels and coilovers. And in these 5 boxes right here is everything that we need to completely transform this car. Now, my stress levels when it comes to choosing the wheels for this car have been through the roof, because as you guys know, wheels can make or break a build. And that's especially true when it comes to a car like this. So if you guys didn't know, the GT3 RS runs 21-inch wheels on the rear and 20-inch wheels on the front. Not only are they huge in diameter, they're also huge in width. So the rear wheels on a GT3 RS are 21 inches in diameter but 12 inches wide. To put that in perspective, the current wheels on the car right now are 18-inch in diameter and 9.5 inches wide, and they're not even close to filling these huge arches on the GT3D build. And those wheel sizes became a huge issue when it came to finding a company that could produce the wheels of that spec. So I first spotted Artka wheels on my friend Matty Hill's Pro drift car, and they look insane. I asked him who made them. He put me onto these guys. These guys make custom forged wheels, and especially the 2-piece wheels, which is exactly the look I was going for. So I reached out to them and we ended up partnering up. And well, as I'm about to show you, their work is absolutely insane. But let's unbox these freaking wheels. So I had to put you guys on the tripod because these wheels are so physically big. These wheels are absolutely insane. Here we go. I really hope you guys like these wheels. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Ooh, jeez, look at these. Every time I see them, they just blow my mind. Oh my gosh, that's so big. So these are the rear wheels, and they are 21 inches in diameter, 12 inches wide, and they are -20 in offset, which is absolutely insane. So Artka wheels make fully custom forged 2-piece wheels. They can go up to -40 in offset, which is absolutely crazy. It's a funny story actually. When I first said to them that I want wheels and gave them the specs, I let them know that we had the 25mm conversion spaces on the car, but they hit me back and said they don't need to run the spaces because they do 5x130 stud pattern and they could match the offset that we needed without the spaces. That also meant that we got a way more aggressive concave on the face and way more dish. That combination is insane. And these are the front wheels, so they're slightly different in size. So the fronts are 20 by 9.5 inches wide, just the same as a real GT3 RS, but these are -37 offset. So here are the front and rear wheels side by side to give you a little bit better of a perspective. And I think now you can see on camera just how insane the concave is. I'm actually blown away by these wheels. They're definitely the most insane wheels I've ever owned, but I must say the quality of the build of the wheels is absolutely through the roof. So as you can see, we went with the gloss black lip and then the satin black face. And I think once you guys see them on the car, it's really gonna hit home just how crazy these wheels are. But let me explain why the offset is so aggressive. So on a normal GT3 RS, the track width of the car itself is really wide, so they run a positive offset wheel, which means the front wheels are quite flat on a GT3 RS, whereas because we've gone essentially a wide body on the Boxster, you can see our brake calipers are way inside the guard. So we have to somehow fill that space with rim, and that's what the negative offset does. And that's the same here in the rear as well. And that's why they run a 21 in the rear, because of the huge guards. Now for me personally, that's one of the benefits that we have over a real GT3 RS. There's no way you could run this aggressive of a wheel on a real GT3 RS, and that's why we went with something like this, just to set ourselves apart a little bit. And of course, not only do we have our gorgeous new Artka wheels, but we also have a set of BC Racing coilovers. And yes, we are gonna fit both of these in this video. So it's a wheel and coilover install video, which for me is super exciting. And that is because we've actually been invited to display our car at the Keep It Reet Friday Night Drifts, which is essentially not only a drift event, but a car show. We are the special guests there. So we're bringing the GT3D, we're bringing the Slambo, the E36, the Datsun, basically all all of the vehicles that I own. I actually wasn't going to go, but this is the one and only opportunity that people will get to see the GT3D in real life in its 3D printed form before it gets painted, and I thought that would be a really cool opportunity. But of course, you know, if we're gonna show up, we're gonna show up in style. So it was really important to me that we had the Artka wheels and the BC Racing coilovers in the car before we go to the event, which is in 3 days, of course. There's nothing quite like a last minute deadline. But of course, if we're gonna fit our wheels, we're going to need some tires.
So we went to see our friends at Faulkner Wheels and Tires. These guys deal with expensive cars on a daily basis, and they recently stripped some tires off a GT3 RS.
That is so freaking big, dude.
So we decided we'd use them for dummy fitting purposes. These tires are really expensive, so I figured we'd try some secondhand tires to make sure everything fits properly.
So the first front tire is fitted. It looks absolutely insane. Let's go, boys.
Before committing to the real thing. Although we do have a tire machine at our shop, I much prefer to leave it up to the professionals when it comes to fitting up these expensive wheels, as I'd hate to scratch them. And these guys absolutely nailed it. A quick wheel balance and they even throw on some tire shine and we're good to go.
And just like that, we have all 4 tires fitted to the wheels. And I cannot stress enough just how big these tires are. And it's probably hard to tell on camera. So what we're gonna do is we'll get the car in the air, we'll pull the current wheels off the car and we'll put them side by side with the rear wheels just so you can see how freaking massive these are. But like I said earlier, we're not just fitting wheels to the car. We're also fitting coilovers. Look at these. I am so hyped on these. So we've decided to go with the BC Racing BR type coilovers. So these are 30-way damper adjustable. They're fully height adjustable. But the reason I chose these is because they're the perfect mix of track and street performance, which is exactly what we want. If you want to grab yourself a set of BC Racing coilovers here in Australia, head to justjap.com.
All right, time to get the car in the air, get the wheels off, and figure out exactly what we're dealing with when it comes to this coilover install.
Goodbye. So just to give you guys an idea of the difference in scale in terms of the size of the wheels. This is the wheel that I just pulled off the rear of the car. This is the wheel we're about to put on the rear of the car. Look at the difference. It's actually, like, that looks like a space saver compared to that. Absolutely wild. And to put that in perspective, these are the wheels that we run on the back of our Pro drift car, and they look big on that car, but apparently not big enough for a GT3 RS. So you behind the screen, please cross your fingers for us that these wheels are gonna fit on the car, because it all comes down to our measurements. If you remember in the previous episode, we had a laser on the car and we did all the offset calculations, and who knows if we got those right. So, but that is just absolutely wild. Every time I work on these cars, they continue to impress me. So these Boxsters have factory camber adjustment in the body right here in the top. So you literally undo the top nuts and you can slide the factory suspension in and out via these slots, which is so cool. But now we have to figure out how to get the suspension out of the car. So there's a couple of bolts in here, one right here that goes through this knuckle right here that clamps the suspension in, and that's also actually part of the sway bar link, which is pretty cool. And then we think we can use this vent right here as like a hole that we can pull the suspension through, because it's quite deep into the knuckle here. It goes all the way down to here, which is crazy. So we have to pull that all the way out through the knuckle, which could be a problem because there's no room right here.
So we undid the sway bar link, removed the knuckle bolt, and after a bit of fiddling around, we actually managed to remove the suspension via that hole in the fender, just like I said.
So this is the right hand side, you know, because they come marked with an R. We're going to leave the camber in the middle at the moment, and what we're going to do is we're going to slide it all the way in on the slots on the body, and then we can adjust to suit.
So we did some measuring and preset the heights on our BC coilovers, although you'll find out later in the video that we got this completely wrong.
The hole works perfectly. It's the coilover fitting hole.
Convenient.
That shot of the coilovers coming through the body is always a famous coilover install shot. Where is it? There it is. So the BCs come with these nuts here, but we've decided we're going to use the stock nuts that come with the car because I've just got a wider head on them, so they grip a lot more surface area on the body, which is always nice.
Look at that, it even went through the hole.
That's so good, dude.
Let's go.
Oh, the BCs look so good. I'm hyped. I'm so hyped. First BC Racing coilover officially installed. It looks so good in there, but the rest of this, it needs a clean. So we will get a bunch of products from Chemical Guys, and we're gonna clean all under the arches and make everything look pretty. One big issue we're definitely going to run into, and I already knew this, these radiators are definitely going to get in the way. So even with the smaller 18-inch wheels that we had on the front, we were already rubbing on this radiator right here, just trying to turn. But that's quite a simple fix. All we need to do is make some new brackets for the radiator and actually just shift it forward. We've got a huge amount of room in front there, so that's not really going to be a huge issue. So that's the front done. We did the other side off camera because you don't need to see us do the same thing twice. And now we're on to the rear.
Before we got to installing the rear coilovers, was decided to cut away a little more of the rear arches.
Just for clearance purposes basically, but we thought, well, since we're in here now, we may as well get it done. Obviously we're going to seal all of this off when we do all of the bodywork portion of the car, but for now we need to get these shocks out. So these are bolted in pretty much the exact same as the fronts were, so it should be the same but in reverse. We always start by spraying a little bit of the Nulon Shift Your Bastard lubricant in there just to loosen things up before we get started. It always makes life just a little bit easier.
As you can see by the antics going on here, the rear coilovers were actually a little harder to get out. We ended up using this giant pole to leverage the suspension down to give us enough room to pull the coilover out. Then we had to swap over the top hat as we used the stock top hat from the old suspension and bolted it onto our new coilover. Then we set the height and we're ready to go.
The final BC Racing coilover going in the car, a very exciting moment because then we get to fit the wheels.
Because the new coilover was shorter, it was much easier to install. Then we do up the final bolts and we're done.
So all four corners now have BC Racing coilovers. I'm definitely a big fan of how they look in here. Yes, we are going to upgrade the brakes, by the way, but for now, I covered up the rusty calipers with a little bit of matte black, but yeah, good job, Woz. Time to chuck the wheels on the car. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's also about midnight right now, so we're a little bit tired, but we could not go home without putting the wheels on the car and seeing it for the first time. Woo, here we go. Oof, that is, yeah, that's a chunky wheel right there. All right, let's do the fronts. Then we can put it on the ground. And I'm not nervous, you're nervous. I'm definitely not nervous at all.
Okay, maybe I'm a little bit nervous, but also really excited to see if all of this hard work has paid off.
Does it spin freely? Do you want to spin it? All right, it's good. At the moment, there's like positive camber on the wheels because it's in the air, so you can't tell whether we've got the fitment right, but it looks pretty spot on. All right, moment of truth. Let's get this thing on the ground.
As soon as we started letting the car down, we realized we'd made a big error in judgment when it came to the height of the coilovers.
Oh yeah, it's monster truck at the moment. So we went a little too safe on the coilover height, and this thing is currently monster truck height. So yeah, we're gonna have to jack it back up and lower it down, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Not really car guys, are we?
Apparently not. I think it's because the other suspension that we had in there, whilst they were lowering springs, they were very soft. One thing I am interested to see is how well we can make this fit, because we may have underestimated the sidewall size of the tire. So as you can see, the rim we measured to here, and then the sidewall actually bulges over the width of the rim because they're just such a chunky rear tire. Now these are obviously semi-slicks on the rear, so that's probably why you've got that bulky sidewall there, but we should be able to dial in some camber and get this fitting under here, I think.
So I got to work lowering our new coilovers, which actually took a bit of time because I had to keep going from side to side because of the tension on the sway bar.
I probably went down a little too fast just then. All right, that is looking a little better, but we need to get the rear down because at the moment it just looks silly because the rear's really high. So we basically need to go all the way down, as low as these coilovers will go, to get the height that we're trying to get with our new wheels. And I think that's simply because obviously these are Porsche Boxster coilovers made for a Porsche Boxster, but this new guard is so much higher than the old Boxster guard, which was like down here. Like it was literally like 100 mils lower, the old guard. So obviously if the coilover was wound all the way down on the Boxster, it'd be absolutely slammed. But now that we are a GT3 RS guard, it's gonna sit basically at the perfect height. So the things you learn when you are building something that no one else has ever built before. We weren't lying when we said we are going all the way down. All the way down.
To the bottom.
to the bottom.
While we were under there, we decided to adjust the rear camber.
So the camber is adjusted via these eccentric nuts right here. So at the moment it's wound all the way in. So we're going to rotate it 180 degrees and that'll push the camber all the way out. So we need to lower this really slowly because you don't want to crush the guards, and I'm not super confident that that's going to tuck under. It might. Tuck, 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 tuck. It is not.
It kind of is. That's wild.
It's wild, though, for sure. Oh man, so much toe out.
While we were doing the coilovers, Warwick made some mounts for the roof so it wouldn't fly off when it was on the tow truck. And before we knew it, it was time to load the GT3D on the truck for the event. Seeing this thing roll out of the shop for the first time was such a monumental moment for the build, and I have to say it looks completely different outside and slammed on its new Artka wheels. The vision is well and truly coming to life, and I can't wait for everyone to see it in person. I just hope they like it as much as I do.
Happy. That's crazy.
So here we are at Keep It Reet Friday Night Drifts, and honestly, these events are unreal. The place is jam-packed with motorsport fans who are here for a good time, and cars on the limit are putting on a show. We brought 4 cars to the track, which was a mammoth effort, but of course the star of the show is the GT3D and its new wheels.
So after many hours, too many hours in fact, putting the wheels on and off, lowering the coilovers and just checking fitment, it honestly took so long. We ran out of time to show you guys what it looks like in the shop, but check it out. Our wheels are now on the GT3D and I think it looks absolutely awesome. Come back here, Adrian. It's lucky that we got the tires secondhand because they're actually a little big. We misjudged a little bit in our measurements with the rear wheels. So if you can see right here, the fitment's a little too close. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down a size in the tires. So at the moment they're 335 wide. We'll simply go down to the next step. That way they'll tuck under and everything will be fine with clearance. But the wheels I'm so happy with. They look absolutely insane. So now we're just going to go around, chat to a bunch of people, enjoy the night.
For me, this is the reward for all of the hard work. Getting out of the shop and meeting you guys face to face, talking about your cars and sharing our builds. That's honestly what it's all about. These moments make all of the late nights worth it. And of course, if there's a chance to put on a show and entertain the crowd, we're never going to say no.
I think we're gonna go do a skid now. A big one.
Shooting flames, front and rear, the taillights in the smoke, it was absolutely awesome. Has he got any tire left? Give me help!
A huge thanks to Keep It Reap for having us, and thank you to everyone that came up and said hello. Also, the GT3D merchandise is now available on my website, twostepgarage.com, with shipping worldwide.
And just like that, the event is over, but the response to the GT3D was absolutely insane. I was on the fence about taking the car to the event because it was a massive amount of work just to get it even close to ready for people to see it. But ultimately, it's one of those things where I'm so glad I did because the response was so awesome, chatting to everyone was so awesome, and really it motivated me to get the car to this point. And the best thing about that is now I have the motivation to finish this thing because you can really see the light at the end of the tunnel with how this thing is looking. Obviously, we still have a huge way to go, but the wheels have really elevated this thing. And just the overall stance of the car is looking really nice. Of course, we do need to sort out the rear tires because as cool as that does look, it is not super drivable, but that is as simple as going either down a tire size or we won't run the full-on semi-slick Cup 2 tires, which means we won't have this crazy bulgy sidewall. But again, I'm over the moon with this thing. I'm stoked that we now have the roof semi kind of fitted. Obviously, there's still quite a ways to go. We need to weld in a bunch more here before we can go ahead and fillet this. I'll probably go ahead and remove the windscreen as well. But that's a wrap on this video, and what a video it was. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are right back into this build tomorrow. I haven't even unloaded yet. That's how freaking hectic life is right now. Don't forget the GT3D merch is out now. Jump onto twostepgarage.com, grab yourself one. I have shipping worldwide. Cheers guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Oof. Just love it. Let's go.